This is First Snap Podcast, Raiders Edition. This is Zay Yancey, a.k.a. Big Dog Yancey, and this is my co-host, T. Grand.
Well, Grand the Great, T. Grand in the building.
Absolutely, and we're going to get right back into it like we always do. We're going to talk about this Osemele interview to start off with, and I'm going to let my co-host take the lead on that one.
All right, cool, man. I'm quite sure by now everyone has heard about the interview that Osemele did on Adam O'Keefe's show, what I believe it was. Shout out to Adam O'Keefe, a great interview with Osemele today. Well, yesterday, actually. It was extremely interesting listening to Osemele talk about his time with the Raiders, his bond with the offensive line, and just the team in a whole. So if you didn't get a chance to hear, I'm going to touch on a couple of brief topics about that. And if you didn't, I'm going to start with that. Anyway, man, Osemele played with us for 4 years.
Right.
Zay? 4 years he played with us. He came from the Ravens. He won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, the last Super Bowl they had when there was Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all those guys were playing on that team. So he came over to the Ravens with a lot of experience. So he talked about that as well, the experience that he brought over to the Raiders. But I'm just going to get right into it. Like the key topic that I got from the whole conversation that he talked about with Adam was the locker room presence and how things were just from in the Jack Del Rio era and how things were from Jon Gruden era. Very interesting topics. And I was just talking to him or listening to him talk. You got the feeling that during the Jack Del Rio era, it was about winning. They felt like the team was going on a winning. They're on a winning side of things. The motivation in the locker room around the facility was about winning. And when Jon got in there, they talked about how they felt like now, with all this talent around them, the feeling became, okay, this is a rebuild year. And it wasn't that. And then Jon Gruden wasn't saying that it was a rebuild year, but the action that he was taking was rebuild, whether they were in rebuild city. So let me give you an example. I had no idea. Like when he talked about the trade of Omari Cooper, he said that this was during the week they were at practice on the field, and then this guy comes out walking on the field and comes grab Omari Cooper off the field and escorts him back into the building. Now Osemele said that they knew something was bad about this because this guy was the guy that they see when a player is getting cut or a player is getting traded. So they knew that Omari Cooper was gone from that point forward. And it just caught them off guard because they were in the middle of practice, broad daylight. And this guy just came and got Omari Cooper and escorted him off the field. Those were the kind of things Jon Gruden was doing. Another thing that he talked about that kind of threw me for a loop, he said this completely blew my mind. Like when he told me, like when I heard him say this, he said the weight trainer was the worst. Like he was just not a good trainer. He's like he was one of the worst trainers, strength and conditioning trainer that he's been around. He said the guy had no idea what he was doing. He said they were not getting better in the weight room at all, and which comes to fruition. And he was like, yeah, as you can see, we had so many injuries last year. We had so many injuries because we just weren't in shape. Said they just weren't ready because the guy, he was not training them the way that they needed to be trained. That opened up a lot of red flags to me. I was like, yeah, you're right. We're talking about how Brandon Parker, wasn't ready last year. His strength wasn't good. He was getting beat off the ball. hey, now I understand why. I see why now. Right. He was not being trained the way he needed to be trained, strength-wise, in his rookie year. You know, you want to come on that, or do you keep on? I can keep going because I can go on about this for a while. I don't want to keep taking all the time from you, Zay. If you want to jump in on this and make a comment about it. But,
now I didn't get a chance. Honestly, I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole entirety of the video. Were you
talking an hour and a half? Yeah, it was an hour and a half. Right.
Were you talking about his son Deuce as the strength and conditioning coach, or were you talking about someone else that they had hired? Or did they not?
He did not specify. He did not call out his name specifically, which is probably the reason why, because it probably was his son. Now, also he did mention that there was another trainer that they had on staff. He didn't mention his name either, or I can't remember if he mentioned his name or not either. But he said this guy wasn't even trained trainer at all. He was just not a trainer. He said that the highest this guy got was a personal trainer. He said, but as meant to be an NFL trainer, you have to have all these certifications. Right. You have to have all of these accolades, but the guy didn't have any. He just and then the guy told him that he was like, hey, I'm just here. To get, I'm getting paid anyway because I'm on the. Yeah, he said the guy said I'm on the payroll anyway, so whatever you say, I'm getting paid anyway. That's what he was saying. So after that, Osemele said he just left it alone. Yeah,
and then hiring his cousin and hope that
right. So then he said he brought it to. Right. So he brought it in. So Osemele said that they took that because he said in the NFL like you have to have a hush mouth, like you can't say anything. So, but you do have a leadership panel, and the president of the leadership panel of the Oakland Raiders was Lee Smith, the tight end Lee Smith, which they cut. So they took all these issues to Lee Smith, and Lee Smith took these issues to Jon Gruden, and Jon Gruden told him, hey, that's my guy. Don't worry about that, and he'll get better over time. And then Osemele said he never got better at training them at all.
Wow.
I'm just like, so these kind of decisions that Jon Gruden is making, and then he asked him, he said, so how do you feel about Jon Gruden? He said, well, I'm just going to say this, he said that he said he like got it, and he doesn't have anything against Jon Gruden whatsoever, nothing. So, but what he did get from being coached by Jon Gruden, and what he heard from around the league and other players, that this is an ego trip for Jon Gruden. He said this is one of the main reasons why he was letting go all the players, because he said that they said that he won his first Super Bowl with another coach's players, which is true. He inherited the Bucks from Dungy.
Right.
That was Dungy's team, and it was loaded. So this year, and he didn't want to inherit the same players from Jack Del Rio and Reggie McKenzie. So they're both gone. They're nowhere near on the staff anymore. So this is an ego trip for Jon Gruden. He wants to prove to the league, to everyone, that he can win with his own players, which I don't mind that. That's fine, but. Another thing that Osemele brought up, he said that you just couldn't trust what Jon Gruden was saying. He said, like, Jon Gruden, he told him one thing, but he never lived up to what he was telling him. He didn't like that. He said Jon Gruden talked a lot about things, but never backed up what he was saying.
No, that's most definitely true. That's most definitely true.
Right. So I was listening to the whole conversation about it, and it blew me away. Especially about those things. Now, he did have some good points, some good things he talked about, but really, they had nothing to do with the Jon Gruden era. It's just about with his Oakland Raider era. Overall, he just loved the tenacity of that all-black offensive line and all the linemen that were played with him. He said they had a really strong bond. and he does one of the best lines that he ever played with. So I was happy to hear that. But yeah, man, I see why there was so much turmoil going on in the Raiders locker room last year, because listening to Osemele talk, they had a bunch of scrubs in there trying to train them. They weren't organized enough. They were just doing things with cheap players. Man, you got to hire people that the players can learn from.
Right.
You know, you can't be hiring people that you know just because they need a paycheck. That's not how they work.
Right. And that's why I was so that's why I asked that question when you're talking about his son Deuce. Was he there last year? Because I can easily find that out. All I do is look at the salary and see who they're actually paying on their payroll. So I'll figure that out if he was there last year or not. But absolutely, you can't have people you can't just hire your cousin or and I'm just being silly when I'm saying it, but I'm just keeping it real too. You can't just hire people off the street or people that you just I'm gonna bring you in. This is a professional team. This is a professional organization, and this is a sport where all those factors contribute to a winning team. So
right,
you can't have that. So shame on him for bringing in people that don't know what they're doing. Because one thing about professionals and people that getting paid millions of dollars, they're not gonna kind of like just follow the line easily. They're gonna kind of observe what's going on and gonna have their own opinion. So he needs to most definitely get that together, and I hope that he got that together this year, because
I hope he did too. I don't know if they have the same trainer on the staff now, but like Osemele was saying, Gruden just kept saying, "Hey, these are Gruden guys. These are Gruden." People kept saying, "These are Gruden guys," and Gruden said it. These are my guys. So the guys that Gruden are bringing in, I just hope that they are better this year with the rookies that we have and the talent that we have, man, because we got some talent this year, so I don't want them to be ruined, the NFL career ruined because of this. Oh, and one more thing that he brought up I wanted to bring up. He talked about the nature of the Ravens locker room, how the mentality was there with Raider Osemele and Suggs and Arden. Those boys wanted to win. It was about winning. They ran their locker room with a winning mentality. He said, what stood up to me, man, he said, those are men. Those are men. They ran the locker room like men. There were no boys in there. They all taught each other. They taught the rookies how to be men. And there's one thing that he tried to keep going. He just said that there was all in the locker room that was like that he's been a part of, which was like to say, hey, man, make me feel like the Raiders didn't have that mentality going when he was there. Maybe when Jack Del Rio was there for a second, but I think we discussed this there a while back, how Jack Del Rio really didn't have control over their locker room.
Yeah.
He really didn't have control over it. I think that was one of the things that Osemele was trying to hint to. I think it was worse when Jon Gruden got there actually, but hopefully he get a better handle on things this year.
Right. Yeah, and to piggyback off what you're saying, it's very important to be able to have a foundation as far as trust and leadership in the position of a head coach. And how I feel about the situation is, going off the information that, going off what you said, and I did watch some of the clips of the interview, and what I felt was from it was, the thing that stood out to me was he was saying, like, wow, we thought we had all our pieces in place. We had Omari Cooper, Khalil Mack, and all these pieces we thought we were moving forward. And then, Khalil Mack's gone early in the season. He said, we kind of understood that because it happened before, the season actually started. And when the Omari Cooper situation happened, he was like, oh, wow, we're in full rebuild. So that stood out. And then the conversation he had said when they went in the locker room, he talking about with Rodney Hudson and about, like, wow, we're in rebuild mode, and
right,
get the energy, that type of energy.
It threw them off track. They didn't know what was going on. Yeah,
right. It threw them off track. But the way I feel about it is honestly like, they'll throw anybody off track. If you're a vet and you looking trying to get a Super Bowl, this and that, and all of a sudden you're taking away your superstars on your team. this and that. So of course it's going to be a bitter taste inside of their mouth, or not a good feeling when they see that happen. But where I look at it is overall is it's like it's not going to be a pretty thing when somebody's getting traded, or it's not going to be a pretty thing when you trading with your superstars. So what happens after that fact right there? After that happens, and how do you respond then? So what I think was going on is, everything he's saying was true, but I think they was kind of like expecting him to just continue to build and add on to the team that he had, and not expecting him to go in full rebuild mode. So what Jon is doing is he's basically went into full rebuild mode. And if you're looking at the cap situation and looking at how everything was going, if he had to pay Khalil Mack $22 million, then turn back around and pay Omari Cooper $15 million a year, and then turn back around and end up trading away one of the offensive linemen like he ended up doing eventually, this and that. Yeah, they would have helped out with the Omari Cooper situation. I just feel like it was a situation where, since he didn't feel that Omari Cooper had budded into a legit superstar yet, and it was a confident thing, like Derek Carr wasn't giving him the ball, and it wasn't a situation where Omari Cooper just wasn't exerting himself as a superstar wide receiver, and as well as Derek Carr, it wasn't worth him investing in at the moment, so he shipped him off. So I understood that situation. Khalil Mack, that's a different situation. I would have kept him regardless of the fact, and I would have built around him. I would have let go two of my offensive linemen.
$22 million.
Yeah, I would have let go two of my offensive linemen getting paid $10 million a year. I would have let go two of them to absorb their Khalil Mack trade.
You still would have to, so you would have to cut Gabe too.
I wouldn't have cut Gabe. What I would have did was I would have let go Osemele, and then I would have let go Donald Penn, and then I would have ended up absorbing. I would have ended up, filling in those positions right there. I would have kept Hudson and Gabe. But that's just how I would have did it. And then the other folks, the scrubs, like on the outside, and the defensive back, whoever getting paid, how I would let them go to make sure I had enough for Khalil Mack. But that's over and done with. We don't talk about that. So my whole thing was about, like you said, how they running the team, organization, like the players, the personnel, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff that that needs to be fixed, man. That needs to be fixed ASAP. Like, if you got your son Deuce as a strength and conditioning coach, as he is the position he is currently, he needs to be doing a professional job, because the players and the people that get these dollars see that stuff. AB, he's a great trainer on and off the court. On and off the field, whether he's at his house or he's actually in the facility, he's going to train hard. So he's going to see those different things. So you got to be A1 on that. Now, as far as him rebuilding the team, I can't get mad at that. If you're a coach, you're coming in, you want your guys, I understand that you're coming into a situation, you're going to try to shape the team and form the team the way you feel the team should be. So I'm not mad about the trades and everything like that, because the draft came around and how you did free agency, you hit it out the park on free agency as well as in the draft. So our team looking good on this. What I'm really concerned about is, do the players believe in Jon Gruden?
That was my next question, yeah.
Do they trust what he's doing right now? And I think that's one of the reasons why he got rid of some of these players, because because he is in full rebuild mode. So he needs players on the team that's gonna trust him and like, hey, yeah, I'm rebuilding, but at the same time, we're building something that's gonna last for a long time. So the players and everything are already in place. We got the players in place, the personnel and everything. We got just picked up a great scouting head of the scouting department from the Eagles. That was a great acquisition. Everybody was raving about that. So we got our personnel in place right now. Now, is everybody going to buy in? Now, going off the last 8 games of the season, it seems as if everybody bought in. They bought in right there. That was the most garbage team in the league. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, like, Cardinals, of course you can arguably say the Cardinals or other teams was garbage, but the Raiders had already been, really, really garbage the whole year and lead them to that point. So they really didn't have to come out and haul out that season. We had like no offensive
Dwayne Harris and wide receiver.
Right, 2 rookie offensive linemen, you name it, no cornerbacks, you name it, no defensive back, got Reggie Nelson back there, his speed is 76 on the game.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, what's going on?
Gilchrist couldn't cover.
Right, you got cornerbacks playing safety.
Couldn't cover a twin size bed with a queen bed spread.
Right. Right. We're not gonna let it wood on nobody at all. So.
Oh my goodness.
He got those players with that core to believe in him to play hard enough to win some games at the end of the season, and that showed me a glimmer of hope that these players do believe in him. And Jon Gruden is a very confident guy. He's confident when he says so. When
very confident. The ego up there.
Yeah, the ego is up there. So when he said that he loved these players, I really do believe he loved Khalil Mack. He did love Omari Cooper. But when it come down to it, just like on the video game, you love these players, but hell, you know you can build more by letting these players go.
Yeah.
They got to go.
Right, and I'm okay with that because he got us a stronger foundation to me on offense and defense.
Right,
you know,
and I think we're better financially as well as better personnel.
Oh yeah,
personnel-wise than we was last year by a long.
He got a lot of cap out of there. Yeah.
Now we lost Omari and we lost Mack, but at the same time we stacked.
Similar too.
Depth-wise, offensive and defense. And Osemele, he wasn't good at pass protection, really that good at pass protection. I'm just going to call it like it is. He was a monster in fucking run protection. But pass protection, he needed a little work. And then he was also injured. But would I love to keep him? Of course I would.
Now, listen, you know he come in on there too. You know he come in on there too, right? He said that he in the best shape of his life. And now, he said he was 337 when he was playing with us. He down to 310. Right now.
Yeah, I know he's a dog.
He said the best. He said the trainer at the Jets. He said that's the trainer. He said, God, dog. He said he was missing this. He was missing being trained the way that he needed to be trained because he wasn't getting that.
Right.
Yeah, he said he finally got a trainer that he needs, and then we traded him for a 5th round pick. He actually worth still to me a second. You know,
he is a second at the very right.
Yeah, so he said he was injured. He said it was so many injuries,
and then they put him at left tackle.
He wasn't in shape where he needed to be. He wasn't getting trained where he needed to be trained.
Yeah,
he said it was so many injuries. Bella Penn, all those boys were hurt. He said veterans like that need to be trained a certain way, and he wasn't getting that.
And I agree. You can't have that. So back to the bigger picture, we're gonna move a little bit forward, and it's right here.
The rookie training camp, man.
Yeah, we're gonna move to the rookie training camp. But I'm just gonna end off on a good note. I do believe that the culture is changing in Oakland. I believe bringing these young guys in, bringing these foundation pieces, as Mike Mayock would love to say, is going to turn the team around and have everybody following a new leader, a new mindset, because the rookies don't know nothing but what they're being, what they see now. So if they see somebody running the right way and Jon Gruden believing in them, this and that, they're going to follow the lead.
Yeah.
So I believe the last 8 games of the season showed me what I need to see as far as people can buy into Jon Gruden, and he is legit still to this day. So
don't get me wrong, I still love Jon Gruden.
I love him. He's the ultimate Raider. Like as far as when you think about the Raiders, you think about Jon Gruden. So he's so passionate. He loves the team so much that he's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure they're good, and that's what he's at. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take him really snowballing and nesting his team, or for me really to see that he should be there. For right now,
I think but I just believe you're right. I just believe what he's like, the players that he's drafted and the players that he brought in. He wants to get these players on the same track with him. He wants to be able to say, okay, these players are Jon Gruden guys, which is okay, which is great. So that's why he drafted a lot of these high character players. And speaking of the players that he drafted, man, did you see those interviews that those rookies had in the mini camp? They just talk like they're ready. They talk like they're ready. They talk like they understand the game. They talk like they just been here before.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God, Johnson, the corner, man, he talked like he a beast. It's the way he just coming up to the podium, man, and just talking about the positive things and the way he presented himself. I was so happy with that. Leadership-wise, with every single last one of them came up to that podium, man. They were talking like leaders. Right.
Right, and I love that. I absolutely love it. I think they killed the draft. But I did want to say this, and speaking about those chess pieces, I did what was exactly what I was about to say? I think it just slipped my mind. Had a brain fart there, but we can just continue with it. But I do feel like we're heading in the right direction, and as it relates to our rookie class and everything like that. Man. Well, we good to go with this crop.
Too, boy.
With this crop. Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. The players that we got, their mindset is like they're coachable. They're very, very coachable, and I don't feel like that. When you put that into the locker room and you eject it into the locker room, that's going to push us right in the right direction. And they're going to be able to follow behind the leaders and everything. Nobody's going to be a cancer. And, the other thing I was about to say was, have you heard the interview? Hear what Jon Gruden said about Arden Key. Arden Key, during the off season, Arden Key supposed to have got bigger. And I think Jon Gruden was expecting him to get bigger because, his chest was, kind of small. It's called what it is last year. And he come to this season right here, he was about to turn up a little bit, and he really wasn't, folks were like, oh, yeah, he just kind of chilled this offseason. Like, I'm in the NFL. Jon Gruden already said I was the man. I'm starting everything, so I really ain't got to do much. Jon Gruden called him out and said, Arden Key needs to get stronger, and he needs to get better. And with that being said, Arden Key does need to get stronger. He needs to get better because Max Crosby is coming, and he's going to get bigger and stronger, and he will take your position.
Now, he's small right now, though. He's like a wide receiver out there.
Hey, man, what? Chest little. So,
chest little, arms little, neck little.
Right. And you know how you going to hit them little swim moves and, hit them little moves. Yeah, that's cool your freshman year, your rookie year. That's cool, but this is the NFL. You supposed to bucked up 15, 20 pounds. Got big in it.
If Max Crosby get that 15, if Max Crosby can get that 15,
he's gonna do it. He's not gonna play with it. He's not gonna play with it. He's gonna get big. So
high motor players.
So we right at 30 minutes. We're gonna keep it going a little bit longer. So we're gonna talk about the rookie training camp speaking about the rookie training camp, I think it's coming along well. I think the players are coming along well. They were talking about Hunter Renfrow. He's going to be used all over the field, which is great. I think that's going to be great to see him in action. They also talking about how the tight end we had drafted, how he's more versatile than we thought he would be, and more athletic than they thought that he would be. So that's great as well, and say he can do it all. That's why they had let go Lee Smith. And, of course, we love the running back, the situation with the running backs. Loving how Chris Warren is, looking so far. And the rookies itself, I love the Abram pick and how he's more vocal and one of those guys is going to speak, what's on his mind and say what he want to say. I love that.
I think all of them boys got that in them, though. You listen to them. Every last one of them they weren't afraid to speak on anything.
Right.
They were especially for real. Like those were clearly, man. I think that's going to be our best pick. Honestly, I was just looking at them practice and looking at them talk. Man, that boy is ready. He's probably more ready than any other player that we drafted. His mindset is just already Raider Nation already.
Roots,
right. And Hunter, man, God, dog, his route running. I'm just watching this man run these routes, get down the field, explosive.
He's a dog.
Just beautifully He is, and he got that dog mentality. You know, like that's what he was talking about. He was just like, yeah, I know he knew he had the biggest, the fastest. He don't have the biggest hands, but he guaranteed, you know, to work the hardest, and that's what I care about.
That's all I care about.
Man, come on out here and work, man. Come on out here and work and get this time in as a Raider, man. So my expectations for the Raiders and for this season, man, I'm thinking honestly, I'm thinking we can go 10-6. You know, I say 10-6 because the rookies, they got to get their feet wet first, and those veterans, you know, got to get used to playing with each other. But 10-6 to me is reasonable. Now, listening to the Osemele conversation, hey, I just really hope that they get this weight training under control, training and strength and conditioning under control. I really hope they do. They get these trainers under control. That's a big part of football, especially in a 16, 20-game season. You want to make sure these boys are fresh, ready, patched up properly. Their body can maintain the 20 games. Because I'm thinking we're going 20 games. I want to go 20 games. That's what I want to do. You know, so
yeah, we won 20 games. Hell, that's in the Super Bowl, right?
Right. So hopefully, man, I just think hopefully they get everything under control and everything together, because 10-6 to me is reasonable. Josh Jacobs, I think he's going to go over 1,000 yards. He's been in the low thousands, because we got to get some carries to the other boys. Martin got to touch the ball some. You know, in the beginning of the season, but toward the end of the season, I think he's going to have a few more explosive games, getting more carries. Hunter, I think he is going to win that slot over Grant and Nelson. I think Nelson's just going to be used for deep threat only.
Right. I
don't think he's going to be used for anything else but deep threat, maybe some kick returns, things like that. But Ryan Grant, he and Hunter went for should get majority of the snaps in that slot position, because we got Brown and Williams on the outside, and it's just straight beautiful. And
okay, then.
And then, I forgot. You know, we did sign. Hold on. Yeah. I keep forgetting we signed Richard Incognito.
Well, we haven't signed him yet.
Well, they offered him a deal.
They offered a deal, but what I heard, they're waiting on the NFL to see what the discipline is going to be for the incident he had earlier in the year. So,
but Richie Incognito, he'll be. I just say go with the young guys. I
think Richie a dog. I think he's
a dog too, but man, he's like 35, 36.
Man, that don't matter. He got that veteran presence, and he played whistle to whistle. That's what I always loved about Richie. He played whistle to whistle, and
he do.
That's what I love about him. He's a very, very relentless, offensive lineman. So I'll be happy to have him. If we don't, like you said, we got those rookies to back him up. So overall, our team looking good. I want to see what the mentality is. I want to see what the challenge is going to be. Like as for challenging each other, being responsible, and being accountable. Everybody being accountable for what they're trying to do. And I want to see. That's why I'm going to be listening to the huddle and seeing what their energy is like.
Energy like, man.
Yeah.
And I feel you on that. But man, I got to go. I really enjoyed it, guys. Raider Nation. I'll talk to y'all guys next time. You can go and finish it out, brother. I enjoy it like always. See you on the next episode.
Absolutely. Thanks, Raider Nation. This is on First Down Podcast. We're going to leave it out on that, and y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all again. All right.